off the right way. Proud of the way we competed in the game today. Thought the game today was a very physical football game. Like I say, Florida is still, I know the record isn't indicative of that. There's a lot of talent on that field. It's a very physical. They're well coached. They play hard. Made us work for everything we got. We struggled early in the game a little bit. It had nothing to do with the way they were playing. We just kept Solomon Wood staying at it. Guys made plays. Jameis were able to get some protection for him. He was able to get the ball down the field. KB was able to make some huge plays for us. Their defense, I thought, played outstanding the whole game. Special teams, I thought we covered well. Did a nice job there. And lost some field position battles there. They were punting the ball well, and we were starting backed up, but then the offense got going and started making some drives, so very proud of them. And we got it going in the passing game first, which opened up the run later on. But getting the ball vertical, I thought, was key in the game. But had some outstanding performances in the game for some guys. But just overall proud of this team being able to come in here and play. It's a very tough environment. And to stay focused one game at a time, and then we got one more we got to play next week, and then we're going to get a break and see what bowl game we're going to play in. But very proud of the way these guys approach everything, the way we practice, the way we handle things, and I'm just happy for our players, our coaches, and our fans to be able to come in here and play well. Questions?
Just remember, Coach is only answering questions about today's game.
Do you think anything had to, or do you think the win had a factor to do with anything today?
The win was there, but I don't think it really had a factor as much as anything. Because both teams had it. You know what I'm saying? Both teams had it. So, win's always a factor, but I don't think it was significant enough to make a big difference today.
Jimbo, did you say anything to Kelvin after that first drop?
Yeah, look it in your hand. He was trying to run before he did it, and just make sure he had two. He had the one in the midfield, which would have been a big one, and he had the one late. But just wanting to run with the ball too soon, and make sure you put your nose on the ball and put your eyes into it and catch it before you run with it. And we'll throw it right back to him.
You've said just a general comment about his game.
Tremendous. I say this about that guy. I think our receivers. We have got, you can get the ball to Kenny, you can get it to Nick O'Leary, who makes some big plays, you can get to Rashad Green, and you can get to KB. That's the thing about it. We don't care about the way the coverage goes, but KB has some real advantage with his size and speed and athleticism, and he can be a very, very special player, and he's starting to really develop into that guy.
You've said a couple times this year our opponent has no face. Was that hard to get the guys to understand that this week?
It really wasn't, because that's been our motto the whole season. And we don't do that to disrespect our opponent, but you got to control what you can control with us, and that's what we preach, and that's what our philosophy is. So from that standpoint, it really wasn't. And it had nothing to do with whether it was Florida or when we play Miami. It just trying to get your kids to understand and control what you can control is the important thing.
What was it that Kelvin had to do to become that guy? What has he done that's
worked and understand the details of things. And I'm going to tell you the thing about KB that is one of the great. We know his size, know his speed, get focused, learning to be an every down player, playing physical, giving effort on every play. But the thing about him, it makes him very unique, which like Rashad is, Kenny is, and Nick. One of the things about our guys and our skill guys, they're very intelligent. They can learn. You can move them in different spots. You can teach them different things. That makes the matchups on them that much tougher. And I think that's one of the things he's really learned too. He's put his time in the playbook and really learned. He's a very intelligent young man.
Jimbo, what were some of the protection problems early in the game?
They were picking us with some stunts. They were blitzing and getting on the edges, pulling a guy through and getting a loop through, and we started getting our depth back and getting on the edges and keeping our shoulders square. It's a good technique by them on pass rush. Just very well coached.
How do you think Jameis responds when he's getting hit around like that?
I think he does, because I think the more he gets banged, the more the competitor in him comes out. You know what I mean? He's a competitor. Some guys, when they get hit in the mouth, there's two kind of people. One say, "Man, what's going on?" Or others jump right back in the fight. He's a guy who jumps right back in the fight.
Did you like the way they responded? They had some adversity early. Cameron got hurt, the interceptions.
Oh, I know. I had the interception at the tip, a weird tip. Cam got hurt, and we had to put the other guys in there. He just took off and then just kept going. That's the one thing about this team. It cares for each other. It plays for each other, and his team deals with adversity extremely well. Whatever's in front of them, okay, that's what we got to do. Let's take care of it. It's a very mentally mature group. Controlling the clock. Oh, I did. I told him he's got to see the clock. I didn't have to call timeouts all the time. I'm tired of that. Now I told him he's got to control that clock and see it. He was making a check, and he was making it too late. And he could have saw it when he first got down to the center. And I said he didn't peek at the clock, so I'll just remind him. And that's just the way he and I communicate. That's normal. That's what gets us going.
When you grabbed him by the face mask, is that customary in the relationship?
Oh yeah. I just pulled him to me so I could talk to him because he couldn't hear him. And he said he was trying to talk back and tell what was going on. I said, "No, come here, so we can talk." He knows when we do that. It's fine. Yes.
Did you tell the Gators defense was whoever down for a bit, and that's how you guys win things?
No, I don't think they were. I thought in the first half, the big plays got them in the passing game. I think that's where it was. And we were on the field, but time of possession was about equal. If you look at the time of possession, it wasn't really lopsided. And what we're doing.
Jimmy, the importance of that 90-yard drive that really got your first touchdown,
yes.
How big was that for you?
And overcame penalty,
Too long.
overcome a third and, 2 big third down pickups, third and long, made a big throw in there, and just overcoming it, got the momentum, say, something, we can do this. And their confidence started going, and they started flowing.
Did you see something with Jameis?
I'm sorry?
I was going to say, did you see something with Kelvin, some matchups? Because he was going to a
We
lot.
wanted to do them. Once we started getting the ball vertical, we thought that's what we had to do. Because they were squatting on everything, and then when you come out of your cuts, they're constantly grabbing and pulling on you. So you got to run by them, and you got to take advantage of them.
How big was that catch by Kenny on 3rd and 25?
Oh, critical. Got the whole momentum going. I mean, and then took a shot, got right up. I mean, it's indicative of this football team.
After Kelvin's first touchdown catch, what did that do for the offense to kind of open?
I mean, just kind of loosened it up. You know what I mean? You kind of were tight. You just weren't. You couldn't get going. And offensively, that's what I say all the time. Offense is about rhythm. I don't care what sport it is. Baseball, basketball, anything. It's about rhythm, and you're getting a flow for things. And we just couldn't get that rhythm. You couldn't get that flow. Now, you hear me say it all the time. Sometimes you're just a hair off on offense. It can be devastating. Defense, you can make it up with effort. Offense is about rhythm and timing. And once we got that, and then we kind of just loosened up, and then things started to flow.
How much did Cam getting back in the game kind of shore up those protection things?
It was good. It was good, but they came a little bit when he was there early. They still got us early when he was in there too, but it helped. It definitely, we want him in there. There's no doubt.
Coach, can you comment on your guys going 12-0 and how tough an accomplishment that was?
Yeah, that really is. I mean, I'm very proud of this group of seniors, this whole team again. And this team, why I was able to do that was because it played one game at a time. It never looked ahead. It don't worry about the results. It doesn't worry about the outcomes. It doesn't worry about what we have in front of us. It's a very mature group that buys into our philosophies of one game at a time and the process of how we do things.
How big was how cool Jameis was? Every time that he was getting a rush, he'd just step up and just fire down the field, not a worry on his shoulders.
That's Jameis. I mean, it is. That's just who he is and what he is. And the more heated it becomes, the better he gets.
It might not have mattered, but it was 17-0. You have a 3-and-out to start the second half. How big a play is that by Mario Edwards?
It was getting the fumble and the turnover. And that was critical because we got points right after that. Then we were able to get the ball back, hit the big play to KB, and get down there and get up 27-0. It was very cool. Our defense, I thought, played outstanding. I mean, they really did. Controlling the run, getting pressure, and I thought we tackled well in space again.
Coach, talk about how the O-line adapted to what you were talking about the stunts earlier.
They did. They got back and they got their communications better and started getting back square and passing things off a lot better. The technique, we got them on the sideline and corrected it. And it was critical because that then allowed us to have time to get the ball down the field. And our line did a tremendous job adjusting. And that's what game, when you play good people, Will those guys do a tremendous job on defense. I mean, those guys are extremely well coached and schemed and everything else. And it was a good job of adjustments for our guys.
Not just Kelvin, but also Kenny and Rashad also kind of responded maybe to being challenged.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, those guys are over there leading. I mean, and they don't care who got the ball. And so somebody's making a play. Those guys are over challenging guys, getting on guys, leading on the field, and made plays when they had a chance. Very proud. I mean, this is a tremendous group of guys to be able to coach. I'm very blessed to be able to coach them.
You talked about that secondary earlier in the week. Was that secondary as good as advertised?
No doubt. Them guys can cover now. They can run. They can get up on you. And they got athletes, and the way they play, it's a heck of a group.
Obviously, the physical skills of Jameis Winston are obvious. Can you talk about the intangibles of things like focus and poise?
Competitiveness is ridiculous. I mean, he's a competitor now. And nothing phases. You don't, like you say, you get on him, nothing phases that guy. He thrives on it. He wants me to do that. He likes that. But I'm going to tell you something. The guy's ability to learn and process information is what puts him over the top. He can learn and process. He can think. He understands what he's doing at all times, where his whole, and when he makes mistakes, he can come off and tell you exactly why he made it. And what he did and what he didn't do right or whatever. It's those things. I mean, the physical gifts, like you say, but the competitiveness and the intelligence and the willing to work and put the time in is what separates him, in my opinion.
2 more questions for Coach.
How much were you, getting back to what you're saying, how much of that learning curve from the beginning of the season to now have you seen in him?
Every week it's something new. Every practice. I mean, he learned from practice. I mean, he gets in different thoughts and come in with ideas, and he's a football junkie. You know what I mean? He loves everything about it, and he loves the whys of the game. Not the results of the game, but the why, how it works. And to me, those are the guys that make it for a long time.
Jimbo, how much of an asset is that early on when your offense was struggling a little bit to have that defense to kind of fall back and to keep you in the game?
That's what I say. You got to have a complete team. If you're going to be a championship team, you can't be a good offensive team or a defensive. You have to be good in all 3 phases. And when one's not clicking, they can rely on the other one. And our defense did a tremendous. Jeremy and those guys have done one heck of a job.
Duke won the other side. Can you talk about them in the matchup?
I have to look at them. I actually haven't had a chance to even. I haven't seen them on film one lick. I promise you. And but I know one thing: they're 10-2, and they won 10 football games, and they're very well coached. I know David Cutcliffe for a long time and his staff. They'll have them ready to play. They're extremely well coached. They're having great coach. When you win that many games in a row, their confidence is going to be high too. So you got 2 teams on winning streaks that go into a championship game, which is what it should be, and they'll feel very good about each other. And it should be a great game.
Coach, what was the goal at the beginning of the season? ACC championship, national championship. What came first?
Well, you get first was state championship. First was state championship, then ACC championship, then national championship. That's our goal.
All right, thanks, Coach Ezra.